Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with a very special video for you guys today. I am so excited to bring you guys the first ever Hop Into Spring video. Hop Into Spring is a YouTube video hop put together by myself and some very talented ladies. It's my hope that this series brings you some inspiration and gets you guys excited to start creating as the season changes to spring. So for this hop, we're going to be making a variety of mixed media tags that are all spring themed. So I'm the first stop along the hop, and after me is Kim at SereneBookworks. And I'll link her video as well as the rest of the relevant hop information down in the description box below for you guys, but I'm just gonna get into it. I kind of cheated a little bit and did some stuff off camera before I got started, only because I didn't want you guys to have to watch me do all the boring stuff. So I have my tag here already, and I already glued the piece of scrapbook paper that I was going to use for it on here, and I have these stickers that I got a really long time ago on AliExpress, and they're like succulent wreaths, right? They're pretty cool, and I haven't used them for anything, but for this I wanted to use them and also knock everything over that's on my table. I wanted to use them, but I wanted to fussy cut all the little flowers out to use those, so I did that off camera, so you guys don't have to sit and watch me fussy cut. And I also used this really great stamp set from James Luke Burke. I used this stamp to make this picture, and then I kind of altered it and changed some things and drew out the rest of the details off camera. And then I photocopied it because I really like this and I think I want to keep it to use in some other projects. So I photocopied it, printed that out, and then cut that out, so you guys don't have to watch me cut that out, but this is going to be my focal image. And I got some stuff together already that I wanted to use. I don't know if I'm going to use everything, but I kind of gathered it all together here. So I've got like some laces and fibers. I've got some inks. I'm definitely going to use some of my Distress Oxides. I think this is going to be my color palette. For those of you that can't see, I have picked Raspberry, Evergreen Bough, and Tattered Rose. So, I'm going to use those colors for sure. And then, I've got some stickers from Shayna and also some book paper from Shayna. And then, just a bunch of random stuff. I have a whole pile of things. Another packet of stickers. I even have this, like, canvas burlap colored doily that I might use. So, I don't really know. I have a general idea of what I want to do here, but I'm just kind of winging it. I don't really have a plan, so you guys get to join me on that. And what I'll do is, I think I will cut the music on and just add in some voiceover as it becomes relevant, but just let you guys pretty much watch me work here. And I think I'm going to check and see if I can zoom in a little bit on this tag. There. So you guys can kind of get a better idea of what I'm doing. I don't know. Hope that's good. And we'll stay in the frame, hopefully. I'm going to try my best. So, yeah. I'll be right back in a second, and we'll get started. So, all I'm doing here is using some Primo White Gesso and some water to knock that scrapbook paper into the background a little bit so that it doesn't stand out so much. And also to get rid of some of the vibrancy, because I'm kind of going for sort of a matte, sort of kind of neutral, not neutral in color, but neutral in tone, I guess, if that makes sense, sort of look overall. So I just don't want that paper to be so stark against everything else I have going on. And then I'm just going to use up whatever gesso I had left on my craft mat and just apply it kind of randomly after the first layer is dried. Then we're going to dry off the whole thing, and using my Distress Oxides, I'm going to get just a scrap piece of acetate and kind of smush it on there. I think I heard someone call this the smosh technique, but I don't know if I feel confident or comfortable saying that repeatedly, so that's just what I'm using. I'm using a piece of acetate, and then I'm just going to dry between the layers, and just pick up the color and kind of apply it randomly, but not super randomly, because you'll kind of notice that I apply both the pink colors at a diagonal, and then I come back in with the green color, that evergreen bow color, and I kind of put that more generally all over the tag. But I did have a pretty specific direction in mind as I was applying color, and even when I go back to stamp, I sort of try to stick to that diagonal line across. Then I'm just making sure that I dry in between all the layers. That way the colors don't all run together and get muddy looking. And then this is just an old Stampin' Up stamp. I think it's called Weathered. And I'm using some archival ink in potting soil to add some of that cool, like, cracked effect to the background. But once again on that diagonal that I was working off of before. And here I'm pulling out everything that I decided I was going to use on the tag to kind of get an idea of placement. But some of the stuff I ended up changing my mind on and tossing it back. And all I want to do here is tear off some pieces of this book paper that Shayna sent me. I accidentally tore it, which is really sad. I was going to save it and use the whole sheet for something in the future, but I accidentally tore it. So now I'm continuing to tear it a little bit more to add it to this tag. And then just inking around the edges with more of that potting soil archival ink. And then I decided that because I wanted to keep sort of a neutral tone overall to my tag, that I would add some gesso on top of the book page too, just so that it wasn't as bold in the background, which was kind of a new thing for me. I don't usually do that, but I just had a really clear idea of how bright I wanted my background to be. In this instance, I didn't want it to be very vibrant or bright at all. So then I just glue those on there using Tombow Mono Liquid. I think it's multi-liquid. It's a really long name for glue. It's good glue though, you guys. I like it. If you hear a bunch of noises, it's because my cats have decided to be ridiculous right now, so I apologize for that. They tend to start doing crazy stuff once I start recording. So just trimming the excess book page off right now, and then considering my next move again. And I decided that that tattered rose Distress Oxide wasn't standing out enough for me, so I was going to use it through this like burlap textured stencil from Prima. I can't talk now. Just to kind of, I don't know, showcase that color a little bit more. And also to add some lightness to the background, because I didn't want it to get too dark as I went along. So then I just add some water to set off that oxidization effect, and then I brought out some of these Graphic 45 stamps that I have, and I'm just going to add those to the background, and I'm trying to keep the green with the green and the pink with the pink, to add more of a sort of multi-level effect, I guess. Don't know a technical term for that. And then I'm gonna spray that with some water while the ink is still kind of wet so that the image blurs a little bit so it's not as crisp. And then I decided, after much deliberation, that's what you see me doing here, is thinking about what I want to do. I decided to stamp on this canvas doily using my Distress Oxides in that evergreen bow. So I stamped the images on there, and then I decided to color it with that Tattered Rose ink, just because I wanted it to match more tonally than it did on its own. So after I trimmed off the excess, I decided that I didn't want to set that aside. I wanted to use more than just that little corner piece of the doily. So I added that to both the side and a little bit up on the top. So I used the majority of that doily. I don't know if I saved that little piece or not. It probably ended up in the scrap box. But I was pretty pleased with using the majority of it. So here I'm trying to decide how tall I want my girl to be. I made her taller, or I left extra paper on my drawing so that I could make her taller or shorter, which is a good tip, you guys, if you have stamps like these. Leave yourself a little bit of extra room. This way, when you're doing your placement, you can get exactly where you want. You don't have to go, oh, it's too short or too long or whatever. So then I decided to add in those succulent wreath stickers that I fussy cut. And although I was glad that I did all my fussy cutting before I started filming, I realized that getting them apart, like off the sticky back, was a lot harder than I anticipated, and did not have a plan on how I was going to get those apart. So it took me a little bit. I struggled with that for a little bit here. And then I was going to use both pieces of the wreath in her hair, but realized it wouldn't fit, and then was just trying to figure out how to use up the rest of the stickers that I fussy cut out, because I wasn't going to waste all that fussy cutting. Every one of those little stickers was going to get used as much as I possibly could. So here I'm losing the battle against the little tiny sticker. I think eventually I won. Yeah, I totally won. But then I couldn't decide where I wanted it, so there's a lot of back and forth here where I tried to figure it out. And I was going to cut out some of this stuff for you guys to see me trying to figure out, like, my process and deciding where stuff was going to go. But I really didn't have, like, an idea, like I said at the beginning of the video, of exactly what I was going to do. So I wanted you guys to kind of see a little bit of the process. Mostly it's just me waving my hands back and forth while I talk to myself about what I really want to do. Anyways, here I used a little bit of a pink gelato just to add some color to her cheeks and her lips, and then added a little bit of water and used a baby wipe to take off the majority of the color that I added on, just so it wouldn't be so bold. And here is what I was talking about, where I'm really just kind of fussing around with placement and trying to decide what I want and what goes where and whatnot. And I really like these stickers. They're some really pretty vellum stickers that I got on AliExpress. And then those stickers on the left are the ones I got from Shayna. And although I go through the process of trying to put one of them down to see if I like it, I end up not using them at all because I really love those stickers and I just want them to go on something really nice. And I always bring them out to use them, but I never do. So here I finally decided what stickers I was going to use and where I wanted them. And I cut out a big part where I was just putting one sticker up and picking it up and putting it back down. But I finally decided what I was going to do. Thank goodness. And here I'm fighting with the vellum sticker, which was a lot easier than those little tiny fussy cut stickers for sure. And I wanted to kind of have some of the flower covering up her a little bit, so it's like she's in between the flowers. So that's why I didn't discard that piece of acetate completely, so that I could tuck the leaves over her arm. And that way it looks like she's more a part of the overall image and she's not just stuck on top all by herself there. And then I just glue her hair down over the top of the flower so that everything's all blended together and stuck together nicely. And sorry about the lighting here, I'm going to bring it up again later towards the end of the video too, but I did not realize as I was working that the sun had finally come out, so the lighting gets a little sketchy here. So after I trimmed off the excess stickers, I decided to go back around with the potting soil ink just to kind of give it a border and then get rid of the white edges. And like I said, sorry, my cats are being crazy right now, so there's going to be a lot of background noise. So after I did that, I decided the tag was too dark, so I wanted to add some white in, but I didn't want to do splatters. So I used this little like dotted speckle stamp I have with some Versamark ink and some white embossing powder. It's just regular white embossing powder from Zing. And because I didn't wait for the archival ink to dry, the edges started to pick it up, and once I realized that the edge had picked up the embossing powder, I kind of used that to my advantage and just started adding it to the border in places I thought, you know, it would look nice. And so I got like a twofer out of all that ink and stuff. I ended up with a better effect than I was going for to begin with. So after I heat set that, I decided that I wanted to add more of that crackle stamp to the foreground, just to kind of increase the layered effect of the background overall. And then adding my sentiment here. And these are just some of the clipping stickers from Tim Holtz, and then I think one of them is from the Chit Chat from Tim Holtz too. But they're all Tim Holtz stickers, it doesn't really matter. They're all Tim Holtz. And so I'm just using the glue. They're sticky on their own, but I use some glue just to make sure that they stay stuck. And then using a Signo Uniball white gel pen to go back over some of those spots that I added the pink in, because I just thought that it was too pink. So I wanted to kind of reincorporate that white, and then I decided to put a border around the quote. Oh my gosh, that was really hard to come to. The quote, just so that it stands out from the background a little bit. And then after that, decided to add in some, just some random journaling. Just so that the white kind of fits the whole background and everything all ties in together really nice. So, here I have some like random fibers and laces and stuff. I dyed the pink and green ones using the distress ink, or the oxide inks that I have, that I used on the tag. And here I'm just using a little piece of folded up wire to pull it through the hole all at the same time, so I don't have to struggle to thread it. Guys, this is my tag done and done. Sorry about the lighting. We haven't had sunshine all day, but it suddenly decided to come out as soon as I started filming. But that's it. That's it for my Hop into Spring mixed media tag. The next video will be Kim at SereneBookworks, and don't forget, I will link her down below so you can find the very next video in the series there. And from then on, you'll get to see who else joined in and all the beautiful things that they made. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great one. Bye.